Hello. How's everybody doing out there? Oh my goodness. Hey, Heather, how are you?
I'm doing really well. Thanks for asking. How are you?
Fantastic. No, this is awesome. And I got it right this week. I got ladies first. Wait, hold on. I'm not pointing to the right place, but anyway, whatever. So I never will get that right. You know that I won't. I never get that right. Anyway, hey folks, it's going to be an awesome show. And I'm sure we probably have some people out there already. Tell us where you're from, what city, state, and all that kind of stuff. We'll get into that. tinkeringwithtech.net is us. Click the, I still got it wrong. See, I told you I was going to get it wrong. Click get your phone out, put your camera up, and hit the little QR code. And then that way you can see exactly, it takes you right to the website where you can come in and see the website of tinkeringwithtech.net. Anyway, today, great show, awesome show. It's a kind of old school day for us. It's kind of fun. We're going to bring on our guest. We're going to talk marketing because that's what this guy do. Anyway, it's going to be a lot of fun and we're looking forward to it. Without further ado, Jeff Sieh, how are you, sir?
It's great to see you guys again. It's been a while.
It's awesome. It's awesome.
Oh yeah, it's things have changed since we first met each other.
A little bit. A little bit, yes. Your beard is definitely longer for one thing.
Yeah, and I've got COVID hair, so I haven't got a haircut in a while. So
as we all do,
yes, the COVID hair. But I was thinking, it was so funny because we were talking about in the show, in the kind of the pre-show, we met all on Google Plus. And do you guys remember? I remember the first time I went to South by Southwest was Ronnie Bincer, and we had a cell phone on a pole with a speaker duct taped to it so we could talk to you because there was no mobile broadcasting. I mean, and we were cutting edge, and we interviewed Guy Kawasaki, and you guys were all back in the studio, talking to him, asking questions, and we got kicked out by security. I mean, and now we have this. It's amazing.
It's so funny that you bring this up because I recently, within the last 2 weeks, was actually looking at those videos. Ronnie still has those videos up. You can actually go and watch those. And to see him, Ronnie, man on the street with his, he has a whole vest of hardware that he's lugging around and wires and cords.
And I just started my beard.
The funniest. And you just started your beard.
I did.
There you go.
That's
well, you tell us, where are you from and what country, city, state, planet, however you want to answer.
What planet? I don't know. That's the tough. So, I'm in Longview, Texas. So I'm East Texas. I'm about 2.5 hours east of Dallas and about 45 minutes from Shreveport, Louisiana. So, East Texas. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, cool. I don't know that I've ever really known that, but that's cool.
Yeah.
Ron Brown from 𝐞𝐚𝐬𝐿 in Canada. Nice. Niagara Falls, Ontario. Thank you very much there, Mike.
It's
Victoria. It is the Canada show. All the Canada folks are here.
And Tennessee.
Hermitage, Tennessee.
Yeah, I recognize Andrew. Nice to see
him.
Oh,
yeah. So, Andy.
So what's funny? I was going to mention this. I really like the intro, and so do Andrew and Ron. They both mentioned the intro. It's did you have that one last week or is that a new one from last week?
No, that's the same one. It's the
same one. Okay. All right.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate it. Took me there you go. Hudson Valley, New York. Wow. I love, this is the beauty of this. And we kind of gained this from Google Plus days back when you're talking about, we were talking to people from all around the world. And that's what's really cool about this. That's one thing that's cool about this platform. And now with the situation we're in, there you go, Mount Pleasant, South Carolina, right around the corner from me, actually. I'm in Greer, South Carolina. So, Heather, where are you from?
Where am I from? I'm from
right now.
Right now I'm in Arizona.
Arizona.
Thanks for stopping me.
Arizona. There you go.
I'm in Arizona. Yeah. Look at this. Miss 𝐞𝐬𝐬.
Oh, Eileen.
Plus, alumni. Can we say alumni to something that's
sure.
dead and gone? Yeah.
Sure.
We can say it. Sure. No, but what's cool is that we were
doing whatever we want.
That's right. One thing that's interesting, and I'm glad you brought it up earlier. Like you said in the pre-show, we were talking about Google Plus, because we're going to be talking about marketing today. But to me, it's the collaboration and what Hangouts brought, versus anything else. Hangouts brought what we're doing right now to give us. And people hear me say this all the time. They're probably sick of me saying this, but it's true social media, because this is social. This is the social part. All that other stuff is just crud. I mean, seriously, you just get garbage. I mean, there might be some social part of
this
it.
is what social media looks like. This is what social media looks like.
Yeah.
You know what's funny is I got so frustrated with Google Plus. You know, we were doing this stuff back in the day. You know, I mean, we were doing this a long time ago, and then everyone's talking about Facebook Live. And if Google Plus would have got on the bandwagon, they could have killed it. And
100%.
you know, I mean, and then Facebook started doing it, but I mean, they were ahead. We were pulling up. Remember Comment Tracker with Google Plus? Remember we were doing that, all that stuff, because that's what people ask me, like, what do I need to go to do live? And I always tell them, don't ever use any live platform, and you can do it with StreamYard, which is a great platform, that you can't blow up comments, because otherwise just do a YouTube video. But live video is about engaging people and talking with them, seeing where they're from. You see people who show up every week and you bring them up on screen. When we were doing it for some places, like when Eric and I do stuff for like Social Media Examiner, we'd have people, when we'd answer their question, take the picture of it on screen and then post it to Instagram. That's how much people want to talk and see their faces on screen.
Hey, you know what? I've experienced that on your show when you were doing the woodworking last summer.
Oh yeah.
When I'm watching you doing the woodworking, you had great conversation. I loved you had like a question every day that was just a really unique question. And then we'd have this conversation. I'd literally pop over there just to say hey and end up staying for the whole 30-minute thing, because it was a great conversation, and that's what it's about, right?
I've got more people who talked about that show than anything I've done. I probably need to start it up again. So
seriously, I mean, no, seriously, it was very entertaining. It was different. It's you know, because you see so many shows that are talking head or whatever and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like this. No, I'm just kidding. Heather, we got to start woodworking. Sorry.
That's right. Hey, you should be painting while you're talking, Michael.
Listen, I've seen him do some stuff with that sharp tool, and he has to use like a special glove on the other hand, so he doesn't cut himself. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, I've had to go to the. You don't want to go to the emergency room now. You'll just sit there.
That's true. Well, let's talk marketing. Okay. First of all, in your eyes, or, you know, if you were to define it, what is marketing? Okay. First of all, let's start there, and then we'll go into more questions after that. And hey, audience, you guys that are out there, ask your questions on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, any of those places, because that's where we're broadcasting. So feel free to throw their comments out there about marketing or whatever you want. Jeff, thank you. Take it away. What do you think marketing is to you? What is it?
So to me, there's been tons of books written about this, but for me, you know, there's social media marketing, there's digital marketing, there's content marketing, and all this stuff. My thing is, you're telling people about your product or service and doing it the best, easiest way possible. I really am a big fan of, you know, social media marketing, but organic marketing in there. So like when I do a live show like what you're doing, when I have a sponsor or something, I don't go, and by the way, today's show is brought to you by blah, blah. You know, I would rather go, hey, you know what, today's show, you know, if you're wondering how I'm doing this live video right now, I'm using StreamYard. It's one of the best and easiest ways, you know, and do it very organically. That to me is the best part of marketing, but it's telling people about your product and services. And to be honest, man, the playing field is level like never before. Like, you know, back in the day, those Mad Men guys and the big, you know, the skyscrapers in New York, and you have to pay all this money to get them to come up with ideas. Man, you can compete with Coca-Cola now on Facebook if you wanted to. If you have something clever and, you know, you can talk and engage with people, it's so easy. You were talking about earlier, we have a television studio in our pocket. I can show you behind the scenes, like how, like if Heather was doing, and she does this with her painting, she goes, this is what I'm doing. Look how I'm doing it. I will teach you how to do it. Those other big brands, they can't compete with something like that. And so I just love the organic nature and how we can, you know, it's such a great opportunity right now. And if people can go past the fear of maybe going live and doing some of this stuff, there's an incredible opportunity out there.
That's such an awesome point to what marketing really has become for that matter. It's really, you know, it's kind of like marketing could have been your old salesman back in the day. Was the salesman, you know what I'm saying, that was walking around with a briefcase or whatever. And I think you bring up a great point with the mobile and being able to go live and being able to do all these things. no matter what, in a sale, any kind of sale that you're doing, it's about that person. It's that human element. You have a choice. They sell an exact same thing, 2 pieces of wood. They're exactly come from the same manufacturer, but they're sold in 2 different places. I use Lowe's and Home Depot as the example. Exact same piece of wood. Which one do you go with? It's the one where that personality, where the human element comes in. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about here when it comes to marketing.
Yeah.
I mean, at least that's what I'm getting from what you said.
Yeah, and here's a great example for like a local business that we have here in Longview, and they're called Shivers, and they're a snow cone place, and they sell it out of a really cool Airstream trailer. They sell this, but you've got to think, okay, they're competing against McDonald's soft serve, they're competing against Dairy Queen and all this stuff, so they've got kind of stacked against them, but they kill it. They sell out every time, and one of the coolest things they do is they have a sign that says, it's a really cool painted sign. It says sold out. And every day in the summer, they have the last cone with a little kid looking sad, and they take a picture of it and they post it to their Instagram account. It goes crazy. People, you stand in line to be the last person to get that stuff because they want to take that picture.
Oh, too cool.
I mean, isn't that cool? I mean, and Dairy Queen can't compete with that. I mean, and you believe everybody swarms to this place. It's kind of a local thing, but that's I think a great example of how, you know, the small businesses, if they think about it and do something that really appeals to where they're at, they can just kill it compared to the big guys. They can pivot really fast. They can do all sorts of things, but they're one of my favorite examples that I use because I love Shivers snow cones. So I want some free snow cones to watch it.
That is, it's awesome and amazing. It's excellent. So
I have a question.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh,
go ahead.
I was going to ask a question. In my turn.
You got it. Yes, go ahead. Your turn.
You make it kind of sound really easy. Like, you know, I mean, I have the, you know, super expensive cell phone, which means broadcast in my pocket, right? And I do have all the equipment I've invested in. I've got all the lights and even a green screen and everything. But what are some of the challenges to marketing? That's what I want to hear. How do you, what do you see as a challenge for the little guy? Because you're right, the playing field's kind of even, but at the same time, that means we all have sort of the same hurdles.
That's true.
Yeah, but I'll say this, that probably 99% of your competitors, Heather, aren't doing live video still. It's super easy, but that little bit about getting on, you know, doing, and it can be any marketing. It probably 99% of your competitors aren't writing blog posts weekly or monthly or you know, whatever. There's all sorts of things that people don't want to do because it's hard and it's a little bit uncomfortable. But I think anybody can stand out if they, you know, I started with Pinterest, a big hairy dude. It's a visual platform, and I went on Pinterest, and that's how I got known, was for that thing. It doesn't make any sense. It's crazy. You know, but I know you do video, and most painters don't. And so that's how you stand out, and that's how you get business, and you have built your community, and you have super faithful fans. And I'll give another example because I just love giving examples, but one of my favorite guys, and he's an old school podcaster, but he's Lou Mongello from Walt Disney World Radio. And the way he has built his community he does lives every Wednesday. He's got one tonight at 7:30. That he just is so engaging. I look to on how to build a community. But I mean, the parks were closed, and his community still showed up every week and loved it. And they talked about stuff, and he makes money. They sell his guide. I mean, he sells stuff about Disney. I mean, but they raised for his birthday as a surprise to a guy who does a live. They raised I can't remember how many thousands of dollars for his Make-A-Wish Foundation. They just did it on their own. He didn't ask them to. They surprised him. I mean, and it's just amazing to me that this guy built this community. And even now, when you can't go to one of the biggest main parks in Florida, it's still thriving. And that's because of community. So once again, back to, you know, the hardest things to do it. It's not like the right way to say a Facebook ad. It's not the right way to do a post, or what time to post, or what platform you're on. I still go back to, it's all about community. And the more you can do that, and Heather's done that, you know, Michael's done that here. I hopefully have done that. The people I see who succeed are the ones who've built a community and not just a brand. Does that make sense?
Oh, totally. I love that. And what I heard you say was do the hard things, the things that are not necessarily what
I
we
still
got.
get nervous every time I go live. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah.
I really
These are
do.
hard things. Yeah.
Do you think that, okay, so it's easy to get, because I know I've heard a lot of people talk about this, even in sales and marketing and all the different things. The hardest thing is that you get stagnant or you get stale or you get at a point where you feel like you're not growing or you're not developing. You know, do you feel like you need to do, I mean, how do you handle people that come to reach out to you about marketing? Do you say, oh, look, I want to get more people. If I got these 20, how come I can't get 40? How come I can't get 60? How do you approach those people that come to you and ask you those kind of things when it comes to marketing? Exactly.
They say, I mean, it is getting more crowded. I mean, it's easy to get lost in the noise. There's no doubt about it. And the social platforms are pulling back reach. It's not cool. I mean, I was talking about somebody the other day, you know, the way they're making you pay for reach of people that follow you anyway. It'd be like if you had, let's say you had an email list of 100 people. Well, they'd only let you send out to 30 people and they charged you for the rest of them. We would freak out if that would happen. But that's what the social networks are doing. So that's why you don't always want to put all your eggs in one basket. That's why, you know, it's great with platforms like StreamYard, which Michael is doing, that he gets to go live, not just to one place, but a bunch of them. So you're kind of diversifying that way. But what I tell people that, you know, about, you know, getting marketing and using that for their business is that you don't have to have thousands of people. Everybody starts with one. But they're saying you can make a good living if you have 100 super fans who will buy your product and support you. And I really think that's true. You don't have to have I'm not, you know, I don't have a gazillion people, and I still have made, you know, a living for the last, you know, how long have I done this? 10 years, I think, something like that. I don't know. But how long was Google Plus? I don't know when that was. But I mean, you can do it. I mean, it can be a rocky road, but everything's, you know, nowadays there's no guarantee for anything. But yeah, I think there's ways to do it. And when you get stagnant, you don't have to be everywhere, but you can be where you enjoy it. Like I enjoyed Pinterest because it was easy and I'm lazy and it was easy to do. So I did that. And then I went into live video because I enjoyed talking to people. And then that led to people liked my live videos, and then I got sponsors, and then people paid me to do, you know, run live video for them. And so it just kind of expands like that. So do what you are good at. I don't like the whole, you know, find your passion, because I think like my passion would be sitting around doing nothing really, but everybody has to work. But do something that you can, you know, you can see has some legs and that you don't hate doing, that you don't hate, you know, there's always times, and you know, you've had shows before you're like, man, I don't want to go live today. I'm tired. But compared to doing some other stuff, this is really a pretty good gig. So anyway, that's what I say about that.
For me, awesome. It's less about the going live part. That's, you know, the part that I don't want to do. It's the other stuff that I don't necessarily want to do. Right. That to me is the hard stuff. And I think that's the important part, is figuring out what is your hard stuff.
Right.
Because I think for everybody, if all three of us were to say the one thing about our job that we do that we would prefer not to, that if we could, whatever the cost, pay that money to somebody else to do it, what would that be? I think it'd be different for all three of us. I know today I was
accounting. I bet all of us would say accounting.
No, not me.
You like accounting?
Yeah, I do like accounting.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know if I can be your friend anymore.
I don't like video editing. Oh man. I do not like editing at all.
So far, I like both those things. Okay, let's go with another one. Let's think of something else.
What do you think? Man. What do you think, Michael? What would be the one thing that you would say, no, I'm not going to do that?
I'm not good at, I'm not doing, it's hard for me. I mean, I don't have a problem doing this kind of thing. This is awesome. But to me, to actually sit there and write a blog, I'm just not a good writer, I guess. So anything that I have to write up or make something,
or anything on the website at all, you don't like
exactly
at all.
Yeah, I have to pass it. I have to pass it to Heather, or I have to pass it to my mother, because my mother always edited everything. You know, anything that I ever did, she was great. She could put it. Oh, you have all these thoughts, and they're all spread out in 15 different places. Let's organize these. So I guess that would be the thing for me. But I have no problem with spreadsheets, the numbers, all that kind of stuff. I'm fine with that. And then if I have to edit a video, are you kidding? I love that stuff. So, I mean, yeah, I'm good on those things, but,
see, I knew it. I knew we'd all have a totally different approach to what is the hard stuff. Right.
Yeah. And then that, you know, everybody, all the big gurus say, well, then outsource what you don't like. Well, sometimes you don't have money to do that.
Exactly.
That's not
Like,
available.
That's great advice, folks. But you've got to.
I would love to outsource a lot of things, but I need way more than 100 super fans to be able to do that.
What somebody told me, it's like, what do you have more of, money or time? And a lot of times it's time. I mean, you don't have time either, and so you have to kind of pick and choose and do things that. So you talked about in the show before the wood carving show that I did for a while last year, and one of the things I think a lot of people should really look at, and I know Heather kind of does this, is like, how can you like monetize your hobbies? And so that going live doing the wood carving thing was something I did anyway every day. And I thought, well, I'll just do that and see what happens. And people really liked it. Well, that built my influence, and people discovered me and watched my live videos and found out my other stuff I did. And so it all kind of worked together. So it was kind of this great, kind of meshing of all my things that I like to do. And so if you could have something like that, like if you really like video editing, maybe you can pick up some jobs doing some video editing, on the side and build that up until you can quit the job that you don't like. I mean, there's all sorts of kind of cool things you can do that way.
That's a great
I like
point.
what Mike says. I want to outsource my day job, though. Yeah, I agree. I think that would be ideal, Mike. Gord is here. Hello, Gord. He says, great conversation. I resonate with a lot of what's glowing here.
That's
probably talking about me, how I glow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To outsource, one needs an income source, and that is a great point.
That's the thing, is people always say that, and there's a lot of great advice that people say that, but sometimes you've got to have income to do that. And so I had to do it. I did it slowly. I had a lot of jobs. I mean, when I was doing Google Plus, I did a lot of free things for people. I created a lot of videos for people.
I think we all did, Jeff. You weren't alone.
I mean, we just to get out there, and you kind of have to pay your dues, and you still have to do things you don't like to do. I've had clients that I did not like having to go and do their shows and stuff. I mean, it's just part of the thing. But I think as you continue, the other thing is to invest in yourself. And I know Michael and Heather, you do this too. It's like, that's how we met. We invested in a show, a group that helped us become better live video producers. And the more you invest in yourself, I think it pays off in dividends. So I spend a lot of the money I could just keep and like spend for like whatever, but I invest it in like my business. Like, okay, here, I'm going to learn how to do this better, or I'm going to learn how to, maybe write copy better, or maybe this time I'm going to hire somebody to build these templates for me in Canva. So that'll and I always try to think of how can I maximize, my return on investment for some of this stuff as I'm growing my business.
That's awesome.
Right.
That is awesome.
I have a monopoly mentality to this. You know the game Monopoly.
Right,
Everybody knows this game, right? So when I play Monopoly, I make rent on whatever I buy, right? And then I invest that rent. That's how I would do it. As soon as I got paid, then I would immediately go buy some. I never looked at, I want that color properties. I never did any of that. I just immediately went to investing. So I have the same principle with my business. When I make money, I invest it. And sometimes that means, like you said, investing in learning, and Ronnie Binzer's group was one of those. I've taken some online classes to learn how to do the editing stuff or the other junk that I don't like to do, or improving a product that I use, like a mail service, or, some kind of something business-wise that I can make this a little easier if I put a few bucks into that pocket instead of trying to do the free thing or whatever.
Right.
I think
that's a great point. That's a great point. Hey, by the way, before I forget, at Jeff Sieh, he said he's everywhere with that. So
pretty much
Facebook, Twitter, all that kind of stuff. There it is right there. That's why I keep it up there, just so you guys know that's where you can find him. Do you use these shows and stuff like this when you come on and things like that? Do you use that as marketing for yourself as well? I mean, do you consider that?
So like this show, because I know I knew you guys are great hosts. So I pushed it out to my channel. And so that, people can watch it there. It also, one of the things, I want to talk a couple of things. The first one I talk about repurposing, and then the second part is about community. But collaboration, but the repurposing thing is one of the things that I found, and I did this way back in the day with Google Plus, is using these live videos for podcasts. And so there's just something about being in most all the live shows I do are a podcast as well. And you guys, is this a podcast?
No, it's
No.
not.
You need to do. I
No,
mean,
and you're not the first person to say
man,
that.
it's not. You think about, because all I do is for all my shows, and you can do it StreamYard, you can download just the audio, but you can just add a bumper to the beginning, a closer or a call to action at the end, and you've got a podcast. And it's like hosting is like $15 a month or something like that. But for all the shows that I've done, the podcast always gets more downloads than even the replays on the live videos. And there's just something really intimate about people hearing you in their ear, and have all these people who, you go to conferences and stuff. They're like, I love your podcast. I listen to it every week. And you're like, I didn't know you're even there, but I mean, and it's such a great way to repurpose live video. Live video is the best way to get content to repurpose. Like Michael mentioned, he didn't like to blog. I don't really like to either, but you can take this, and there's some great tools like the script and some other ones that can transcribe it. And then you have it as a podcast, and then you can chop it up now and have these little bit of pieces. But I'm telling you, you guys, this would be a great podcast. You guys need to do this.
Okay. That sounds good.
I mean, it's a great title too. Tinkering with Tech is a great podcast thing. Yeah,
I know Phil Boyer out there. Phil Boyer out there, who's one of the. I see him out in the audience. He's been he that's all he does pretty much is podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So he's always
screaming. Eileen has said it too when she's been on the show. She's
Susan Finch. That's what she does. Yeah. That's what she does. So she definitely said the same thing. So
it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. There's Phil now. There's a reason why I do like 5 podcasts. It's better than the social stuff. So Mark Barris has a question for how do I monetize my dog? She has a better social media engagement than most brands. And it's true. Ginger the Beagle is a very popular little beagle, I must say.
I tell you, PetSmart and all those things, they're, if you got a great Instagram account, they could sponsor you.
Get on it, Mark. Get on it, Mark. April is also chiming in. She says, I just followed Jeff on Clubhouse. Jeff, please tell Michael and Heather they need to check it out. We had that conversation in the green room.
Yeah,
so
yeah, it's the only problem is, so Discover,
oops. Freeze up for
did
you.
you freeze?
Yeah. Did I freeze?
It was just me.
Yeah, you froze for a little bit.
I made a pause for dramatic effect. That may have been
it.
That's what we'll say it is.
So frozen Clubhouse.
Right. So the thing is, I'm not all in on it like some people. I go back and forth. There's, if you want to read somebody who's really all in on it, Michael Stelzner thinks it's the next best thing at Social Media Examiner. You can read his article about it. Mark Schaefer has a great article about Clubhouse. And then another guy, on Medium, I think his name's Wisdom, but he has a great one about it as well. I don't know if it's got legs. I think it's what we need right now. I think it's really great. Like, it's almost like the hallways at a conference where you can talk to people. I don't know if it's going to stick around or not. Twitter Spaces is going to be kind of a thing that Twitter's doing, and they've got a lot more eyeballs. But here's the thing. I built my business and my network on Google Plus, and it's not here anymore. And, Heather and I, where we met. And so it doesn't matter if it works for you and you can get value. It's a huge time suck for me. I can get in there in like 2 hours. Oh God, I'm like, I can't do this. But if you could go in there and network and it's what you need to build your business, then by all means use it. I'm not saying it's bad or not. Yet I've heard Clubhouse is rolling out for Android in the next couple months.
I would say that is the biggest reason why I haven't even tried.
Yeah, I haven't even considered it.
So
it's invite only, it's iOS only. And so in the discovery, I just hate getting notifications on my phone. And so it's got to fix some things first, but it's still pretty cool. I mean, it's great. I've connected with some people in there. There's this guy, he always plays the Secret Service agent. He was like on 24. He was in a room right beside me. I screenshotted it. I was like, look, I'm with a famous actor, and
Kiefer Sutherland?
No, it wasn't Keith. It was the guy who plays
not that famous. Come on.
Not that famous. But
I know Kevin Hart's been on a lot of them. He's been in a lot. He's been in a lot of different rooms or whatever, clubhouses or whatever you call it.
I think April tried to entice me by telling me all of these famous people that were in it, and I was like, and I could talk to them, and she's like, yes.
But the thing is, so everybody's talking about how quick they can build their audience, their following, and all that stuff. It's the same thing to me as like building a following on TikTok. My son's girlfriend's famous on TikTok, makes no money off of it at all. And it's like, if you if you can't, monetize, it sounds bad because we were talking about community, but if you can't make money with what you're doing, then it's a time suck and your return on investment's not there.
And truthfully, you can do stuff that doesn't make money if you really enjoy it. But don't do it thinking you're going to make money.
Yeah.
Now networking. Now you could network with people. Like we met in Ronnie's group, and things happen. And my gig that I produced, 𝐤𝐸𝐾𝐲𝐬𝐿 show and his live show, came from me becoming friends with Peg Fitzpatrick, who runs all his social back on Google Plus. And so you can trace that back. So I'm not saying it's not going to provide any value. Just schedule your time there, because it can really, because it's all live, and 2 hours can go by. And I actually cheat, and I can record it on my soundboard because I'm a nerd. And I went through one that I listened to, and there's only about 2 minutes that were really, really valuable. And so it wasn't, you got to really think about like the time spent on it and how much value you're going to get from it.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I know even on Google Plus, when that first started with, I was on Hangouts. I'd be in Hangouts like with Larry Familia. He would have a show that would go 4 hours.
Yeah.
It was just, you could sit there and it was just a mind suck. I mean, you're just sitting there going, oh my God, what is going on? And you're just sitting there going through that. And so it's with anything. Blab, there was people that were on Blab for 7 to 10 hours straight, just wasting their day, yet building network and whatever. I mean, I kind of I really like, and I've gathered in what you said. You could be on all of them or be on 2 of them. It doesn't really matter. Just make that time worth your time and make it work. Use it as networking, using the network end of marketing. Did we cover the 2 things that you wanted to cover?
Well, I want to talk about community, because and collaboration, because I think that's what you guys have done. You guys have, you met in this thing and you grew this together. All of the going to the next level for me in business, all of that has come through collaboration with others. I collaborated with Peg Fitzpatrick, got, Guy Kawasaki's gig. We worked together on that. I worked with Kim Garst, and that was from her and I working together. We launched a training and a group thing, and all of the good stuff that has happened has come through collaboration with others. And I think that a lot of people get scared when they start doing marketing, that it's them against everybody else. And they're scared to work together with people. But I tell you, when you can that was my big mindset, is like, once I got past that I could work with it, there's enough things to go around. I mean, I am on people who do Pinterest shows. They're on mine. They sell the same kind of courses that I do. It doesn't matter. As long as you're providing value to your audience, that is huge. And the other thing is getting in masterminds where people can help you grow and, take you to the next level. Like what we did with, we talk about, keep going back to Ronnie Binter's thing, where you guys in your game show, that's networking and doing stuff together and collaborating on projects. Man, that will take your business to the next level. And it's not as hard to do it all on your own. You have somebody you can bounce ideas off of. And, in my town of Longview, there aren't many digital marketers that have beards and do Pinterest. It's not really a lot of people in my church I can go talk to about this stuff. But I can get online and do a call, and I've been doing this for years, and have this growth mindset, and we can really help each other grow. And it's amazing. Point. Everybody I partnered with has way bigger followings and stuff. Like Kim Garst is gargantuan. Guy Kawasaki is gargantuan. And they still build me up and push me out to their stuff, and more opportunities come from that. So I would really encourage people to just look out in their network and see who they could work with. Because there's just some great opportunities for a lot of people.
There's a valid point in that too. That's a great point. I do that even locally, like you were talking about the local people and stuff like that, like with my little league and with my baseball team that I coach. Anything, it doesn't matter. Once they found out that I did a live game show, they're like, what? Diesel, you're streaming? What? Where do you stream to? And I go to Twitch. What? Because these kids all do gaming on Twitch and stuff. So it's just, but those guys get older. They remember you. It's the personalities, it's the friendships you're building. And so when they are out in their real world and it can help you with what they do in their job, I mean, it's pretty amazing to see that come full circle like that. And I know that we keep talking Google Plus and stuff, but there was a lot that came out of that too. There was a lot of good things on the social end of things that was really, in my eyes, more beneficial. It was more, I don't know. Maybe beneficial is not the right word, because there's a lot of people that are successful with Facebook groups. And
Right.
whatever. I'm not trying to take away from anything, or Twitter or whatever they use for all of building and growing, building and growing. But there was really something there that you could build that was, it was just a different level, I think, more than anything else, or a different, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it was good.
I think it was easier to collaborate, and I think there's tools, but it's fragmented a lot more than it was. I mean, there was only like a couple platforms when we did
Good
it.
point.
You know, but I still think like you could build a business, going inside of Messenger. People have built, there's a lady who was on Kim's show who, she doesn't even have a website, but she's built this 6-figure thing where they just do the Facebook groups. It's all built on Facebook groups. And so, I mean, it's just, you got to find a way to bring people together and then, provide a service that they find valuable. And so like what you guys do and like what Heather does, I always get her Twitch notifications late and I can't ever join on the time, but I still love
get them late
them.
too, Jeff. I get them late.
But I would follow you like from, and it's the connections you make. I mean, even years ago, I mean, when Heather was going around in your RV doing that cool crafting on the go thing, that was so cool to see and follow along with. And so those kind of things, those connections you make. And I think the point that all of us have talked about is we didn't go to collect people. I didn't go and say, Michael does live too, I'm going to use him for later. He'll be good for my business. It wasn't that. It was like we were doing things together. Hey, try this. Hey, come on my show. Let's play a game. Hey, come on, look what I did over here. It was a collaboration. And I think that's what's key is you're not collecting people like trophies to use later in a skeevy way. You're actually wanting to build a relationship, and man, that just pays dividends. And it's I scratch your back, you scratch mine kind of a thing. And it just, some wonderful things can happen.
Well, and I tell you something, we have a local business here, and I'm sure a lot of people have heard of these stories and probably have heard me tell this story. We have a local business here, it's an Italian restaurant we used to go to every Sunday. And I was, when the COVID hit and everything and all that kind of stuff happened, and I said to him, I said, can I leave a tip? He says, you know what I do with the tips? Anybody that leaves a tip, I give it to all the employees that are out of work, all my waiters and stuff like that aren't waiting on anybody anymore. And so what I did, and when I found that out, I said, then just double my bill. If my bill was $40, I paid them $80 because I put the tip out there, and I started doing that, and I put it on Facebook, and everybody loves that place. It's known around here. But see, that's the kind of thing, exactly like what you're talking, helping people out and doing those kind of things. And, they love me for that. They thought that was awesome that I did that. There you go. A lot of those connections on G Plus is personal more than business. And that's a good point. Yeah. But I think it is personal. I think business is personal. When you make it personal, like I said, you have two places you can buy. Which one you want to buy from? The local hardware store that's been there forever and the guy, or do you want to go to the, the big, and I'm not saying don't go to either one. All I'm saying is that there's something about that personable person, the human element of it. That's all. I can sit here and just go on and on and on. Let's start wrapping up. Any questions out there? Heather, I know there's a bunch of questions. Let's throw some comments if they have some. Anybody that has some that wants to throw them up there? Nothing? Nobody said anything?
I've put them all up there already.
Okay.
Mike did say that Clubhouse is the opposite of community to me right now, closed walled space with no way for average people to get in, which is kind of how starter up thingies kind of are. G Plus was like that in the beginning too. You had to be invited in and stuff, but
they do that.
They just do that because their servers can't handle millions of people joining, so they've got to scale it. And then April did say that she mentioned Clubhouse for purposes of building amazing friendships, which is exactly what you're talking about, Jeff. And then the quality of people there is different than what you find on IG and Facebook. And it's interesting because I have huge connections on Instagram because my business is very visual. So I take a picture of what I do Other people take a picture of what they do that they're inspired by what I do. We connect that way. Now we're friends. We're having direct messages with each other. It's a very different experience for me, much like Phil mentioned TikTok is the best for him right now. He uses TikTok to build an audience for his new comedy podcast, which TikTok is perfect for that because that's as much of TikTok as I have seen is little comedy snippets. So TikTok doesn't generate money now, but it's all part of the process, and it may never. If he's having a good time doing it, to me, that's what's important.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is, and Instagram was this way when it first rolled out, there was less layers of friction to get to somebody, let's say popular or big. I mean, you could like direct message somebody and they would answer you. It's kind of that same way on like Clubhouse right now. Like Gary Vee will pop into stuff, and some of the big guys, you know, everybody's talking about Grant Cardone, and you know, some other Shark Tank people are on there. So but it's not going to stay that way. You know, when it's the same way with every new social platform. It's really
I want to bring this comment up. I'm just going to interrupt you for a second, just before she runs. Lolan is going to do a rehearsal for StreamYard today, so we do want to wish you luck, Lolan. Lolan, our community member.
Yeah.
She's trying hard to use StreamYard and make it work for her business. So we want to definitely wish you luck. So sorry to interrupt that.
Oh, that was great. Yeah, and you know, StreamYard I think is a great way to get started on going live because it's really I think it's very user friendly. So
it builds social too. It builds social, and that's a big part. I think. I think.
Well, and that's exactly what we're doing here, right? I mean, we're interacting with each other, having this conversation between three friends who've known each other for a very long time, which, by the way, 8 years ago this month was the first time I went live. That was this month, 8 years ago. And I had no intentions of doing a business. It was strictly because like you, I didn't have anybody in my neighborhood or in my town that I could connect with doing what I love to do. And so I just turned on the camera. And then I'm connecting with people all over the world. And so then here we are, full circle, a whole long time later. And, you know, Michael and I have connected over the years, and great friendship, great business. We do stuff together well. I mean, Jeff, I know I've been on your show before.
Yeah, you were my first guest at Manly Picture Tips, one of the early ones.
I mean, really, it was a lot of fun talking about creativity with you. I'd love to be able to do that with anybody, you know, just to have that conversation with anybody. And that's what I love, is being able to have these conversations and have them with us, but then also being able to bring in these, you know, these comments and here we got them talking to each other. Good luck, Roland. You know, thanks, folks. Cool. You know, so this is exactly what we're talking about. We started talking about marketing. To me, I'm all excited, like I can't even stop talking. Right? We started talking about marketing, and it leads to friendships and community. And I think that's amazing because marketers get a bad rap, don't you think?
Yeah, we mess things up. Like whenever there's a good platform, we'll try to destroy it. You know. You know, but I mean, there's also
broke G+, honestly.
Yeah, but then you can also, there's some really, I mean, you know, the ones that are full of, you know, stuff, and but like there's some really great ones out there, like I talked about Peg Fitzpatrick, you guys, you know, Kim Garst, who I met, who's just the sweetest person ever, and has a huge following just by you know, giving great content and being really kind to people. I mean, and there's still room for people who aren't, you know, a lot of these marketers seem like used car salesmen, and you don't have to be that way. You could be honest, and as long as you're transparent and helping people, you can build a business. You can. I mean, I'm lying if it said it's all easy, but you can do it. You really can.
Yeah, 100%. Hey, we're going to wrap things up here, folks. Thank you, everybody that showed up and was in the audience, participated with comments, because without you, it's just, you could have turned on the TV, you know? But Jeff, thank you for being an amazing guest too, because I think you bring a lot to a lot of our community that are watching, but also people that maybe aren't in our community, but it was a great show. It's great stuff. What's the easiest and best way if somebody wanted to reach out to you and said, hey, look, I got some marketing stuff that I'd like to go over with her. What's the best, easiest way for them to get in touch with you?
You know, at Jeff C anywhere, you can find me, and just, you know, just ping me, send me a direct message on Instagram, anywhere you can find me. Send me an email at jeff@manlypinteresttips.com, and I'll, be more than happy to answer that. And I'd love for you guys to check out the new Friday show we're doing about social media called Social Media News Live. That's on Facebook, YouTube, everywhere. Still setting up the page, but you can go there and get notifications at socialmedianewslive.com. So
is that the one with Guy, or is that's
no, Guy's his own show? It was today. So this is mine, where I bring on guests and interview them and talk about what's going on. We're going to talk about the Apple and Facebook fight that's going on right now on this Friday.
Okay, tell me it again. It's socialmedianewslive.com. Socialmedianewslive.com.
Yep.
Okay.
That's where you get notifications. Yeah. And it's on Facebook. That's probably, Facebook is where we go live and answer a lot of questions and stuff. And so I love building community there. So it's a lot of fun.
I'm going to ask you this.
Right?
Social Media News Live. News Live.
Okay, sorry. I'm going to ask you this on Facebook. If I were to go to Social Media News Live on Facebook and I like that page, will I get notified that page is going live? Or do I have to be sitting on Facebook in order for me to see?
I think it will. Sometimes it'll give you notification. The best way is if you can get notifications for that page when it'll ask you, do you want to get not live notifications? That's the best thing. So when I do the scheduled post, like when you guys do a scheduled post for this show, there's a way to get reminder, and then there's also a way to get get all the lives. So
good to know. Good to know. I've had a lot of people ask me, how do I know that so-and-so has gone live on Facebook, and I don't have the answer. So
you can also tell your people to go and click on, there's 3 dots at the side, and they've jacked this thing up so many times, but you can actually put on see this first. I can see everything from Heather. I can say, I want to see her stuff first. And so it'll show up higher in your news feed. So that's still there, but it's kind of hidden.
Of course it is.
Good to know. Good to know.
All right. Hey, thank you again. Thanks so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, everybody that showed. Community members, we're going to go over to the after the backstage pass. Come join us there. Jeff, stick around in here. We will get you that link so you can join them and chat with them. Thank you so much. And there it is. Socialmedianewslive.com is the link you want to go to watch Jeff on Fridays. Is that right?
Yeah. Also, you can just go to facebook.com/social media news live. There you can find that there as well.
Perfect. Awesome. All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thank you.